if a design is taking too long, the design is wrong.
Do you think Earth's coming to an end?
That is a certainty. I think when I was, 5 or 6 or something, I thought I was insane. I guess my career is Mars and cars. And the idea Mars Oasis.
What if a huge rock, as big as a US state, collides with the Earth? The consequences would be catastrophic. In one scenario, we would all perish in the impact. In another, the survivors would face a bleak future of structural and environmental collapse before finally succumbing to mass extinction. Neither option is desirable. This is the mental picture driving the SpaceX on Mars project. Here are some words from its founder. You want to wake up in the morning and think the future is going to be great. And that's what being a spacefaring civilization is all about. It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past. And I can't think of anything more exciting than going out there and being among the stars. So yeah, colonizing Mars isn't some sci-fi flick on a Sunday night special. It's supposed to sound like a noble dream born from a perfectly sane mind.
I think when I was, 5 or 6 or something, I thought I was insane.
Or maybe not. Still, his dream has come under heavy fire from critics. Some believe that not only is he ignoring Earth's problems, he's contributing to it, and in the process, unwittingly bringing back slavery. But before you make any conclusions about this eccentric billionaire, let's look at his seemingly crazy plans that are causing such controversies. The year is 1992. A non-millionaire Elon Musk is sitting in a dorm, preparing to move from Kingston to Philadelphia, all the while asking himself, what is the best way to preserve the human race on a macro scale? What was needed to change the future of humanity? He came up with 5 things.
One of them was the internet, and then the other was sustainable energy, both production and consumption of that. And the third was making life multiplanetary.
The last 2 were genetics and artificial intelligence. First came Tesla and Solar City, to protect humanity from the negative effects of burning fossil fuel and kick off the drive towards sustainable energy. Then, following closely was the monumental argument on which was more sustainable, diesel or electric cars.
If you burn that in a modern General Electric natural gas turbine, you'll get about 60% efficiency. If you put that same fuel in an internal combustion engine car, you get about 20% efficiency.
Increased efficiency isn't the only thing young Elon had in mind. A quick search of the Natural Resources Defense Council website showed a report titled, Health Costs from Climate Change and Fossil Fuel Pollution Tops $820 billion a year. An extract from the report read, the staggering financial costs to our health from fossil fuel generated air pollution and climate change surpass $820 billion each year, a burden falling heaviest on vulnerable communities, but shared by everyone in the United States. 40% efficiency increase and cutting down on $840 billion debt each year is starting to make the costliest Tesla look cheap. Then, in 2003, the young millionaire asked an important question.
I was trying to figure out why we had not made more progress since Apollo.
The Apollo flight took place in 1969, a time without mobile devices, 5G networks, or any of the tech running rampant today. Yet somehow, humanity was able to send people to the moon. All it took was some primitive technology developed from scratch. Yet fast forward more than 3 decades to 2003, nothing. So, he made a grand announcement that started yet another phase of Elon-powered controversy.
It isn't a lot of money, but it's about a tenth of what a low-cost NASA mission would be. And the idea was called Mars Oasis.
And the crowd went wild. But sadly, all this is the image pushed by PR and talk shows aimed at masking the darker parts of our trip to Mars, the untold stories of the voiceless. So here is their story. Now, the plan to colonize Mars has come under a lot of fire in the last couple of years. But before addressing the larger topics, let's look at less serious accusations, like Elon Musk promoting elitism and escapism. It's popular knowledge that the proposed price of a ticket to Mars is between $100,000 and $500,000, making the whole plan, if successful, the dreams of a wealthy few. The cost of a single trip is estimated to be around $50 to $55 million, and that is just from the Earth to orbit. What about the living expenses and resources needed for the next couple of months of flight from Earth's orbit to Mars? Who would be able to afford that? His response, though, is quite interesting.
It's going to be hard. There's a good chance of death. Going in a little can through deep space. You might land successfully.
Or you might not.
Even after doing all this, this is a very harsh environment, so there's a good chance you die there. We think you can come back, but we're not sure.
Now, does that sound like an escape hatch for rich people?
If you put it like that, not really. But then there's the other side to it. What Musk is suggesting is shipping people to Mars to work them almost to death, without payment, and then get rid of them. Indentured servitude, aka diet slavery, is a human rights violation. So if the rich guys aren't going, pay for the not-so-rich guys to go and prepare a nice interplanetary vacation for the 1%, risking their lives in the process with little to no remunerations. AKA slavery with a little bit of sugar. Another major criticism is the ethical dilemma of potentially harming the ecosystem of Mars. Whether there is identifiable life on the planet or not, any actions to terraform a planet would definitely affect the ecosystem. And whether there's life or not everybody likes the idea of being a colonial invader. This is 2023. Colonizing to collect resources should be a bad thing. Then there's the larger issue called cost. One would ask, with such strides made in sustainable energy and transportation, wouldn't it make more sense to invest those resources in continuing the improvement of non-carbon-based energy sources? Well, this is what he had to say.
The sustainable energy future, I think, is largely inevitable, but being spacefaring civilization is definitely not inevitable.
I don't know how many critics would agree with him. One can translate it as this user did. It's his money, he can do what he wants with it. But is being wealthy an automatic requirement to save or kill the planet? Does a proposed genius billionaire have the right to chase his dreams at the expense of the planet? Let's set aside the lesser issues of inequality, wealth, and the ethical parts of this stance, and address the elephant in the room, which is 1,500 dead animals and the endangered species of Boca Chica. In reality, no story is completely black and white, and the same is true for Elon Musk and his valiant efforts to save humanity. In his opinion, all it would take to wipe out humanity, aside from a well-timed asteroid, was an altercation between nuclear powers or a seriously fatal virus.
At some point, there probably will be a pandemic with a high mortality rate, something that's killing a lot of 20-year-olds.
In the unlikely event that any of that occurs, where are we going to go assuming the planet is in a permanent deathlock? Earth too? Exactly. Yet even the road to hell can be paved with good intentions, and many believe his good intentions are contributing heavily to the current nosedive to doom seen on Earth's ecosystem. In 2022, Elon Musk's Neuralink, a medical device company, was under probe for killing over 1,500 animals during their animal trials. At least that's the number that was recorded and reported. And while Tesla's contribution to fighting emissions are noted, the production of the Tesla batteries alone generates 3 times higher emissions than the production process for the whole gas-powered car. The same can also be said for the highly publicized vegan leather for the Tesla seats, which contains volatile organic compounds like polyvinyl chloride and polyurethane. Then there's SpaceX.
We're tired of living under the constant threat of flammable, rocket explosions because of SpaceX.
In Boca Chica of South Texas, a massive rocket with 33 engines and the SpaceX logo on it was launched into the air, holding the record for the largest and heaviest vehicle to fly under its own power. 4 minutes after liftoff, the rocket went the same way as many SpaceX rockets. But we have to ask, who pays the price for all this testing, experimenting, and exploding going on at Starbase? Elon Musk and his followers would like us all to believe that he is the singular visionary driving humanity toward a better future. But with the death and destruction attributed to his name and his ventures, is it right to conclude that Elon Musk's Mars vision is doing more than just ignoring Earth's problems?